All right, so I've been asked to kind of walk you guys through the magic that lies behind some of the things we did in the classroom, talk a little bit about Apple TVs, and kind of what we had to do behind the scenes to just make it all work from an IT perspective. So I'm doing a little screen mirroring here, and I'm going to use Keynote to kind of show you a couple things, and kind of give you a little bit of background about some of the things that we did and some of the things we've been doing behind the scenes. I titled this Apple TV Teaching Unleashed because, as you can see, we can walk around with our iPads and we can do whatever we want, and we don't have to be stuck behind the podium. So I'm going to show you kind of what goes behind that. When the iPad very first came out, my very first thought was, oh great, how are we going to use this in the classroom? Like, what can we do to make this a useful tool for teachers? In the very beginning, it didn't really help much to unleash you because you were still tethered with a cable. And so there really wasn't a whole lot we could do. I kind of kept thinking, you know, this is really cool, how can we implement some of this stuff? Then the introduction of AirPlay into the iPad and into apps became a really big thing. The very first thing that they announced is that apps would be enhanced with AirPlay. And so you could use an Apple TV to be able to send your video that you were showing in the classroom from your iPad to an Apple TV. And right as soon as they announced that, like I bought an Apple TV as soon as they were available, and we started kind of playing with them. The very next thing that happened is the iPad 2 came out, and a new feature was added to the Apple TVs that you could actually mirror, which means that everything you're doing on your iPad could be seen in the classroom on the projector. And so it could work with all iOS devices that had the ability to do it, from the iPhone 4S, iPod Touches, and also the iPad 2. So I had to get an iPad 2, that was important. But and the great thing about it as an Apple TV was an Apple TV 2 is what it was $99, so it wasn't a lot of expense. And so that kind of changes. There was two challenges that we faced with these Apple TVs. They were created mainly to be able to be used at the home, so that you could plug it in at home and you had a way of you know, streaming media from Netflix and from your iTunes library. And so it was a big challenge because they only had HDMI connectors, which is classically used for high definition. So one of the things that was a big challenge in the beginning was the way that we could hook them to legacy projectors, and the other one was the wireless, because it kind of needed to be like the Wild West. We needed to let everything open. And so we found a thing called the Kinect ATV Pro for $60. So over $160 we could outfit a classroom with an Apple TV and a way to connect to these old projectors. The next thing we had to overcome was the wireless. We had forever been trying to protect you guys from each other, and so if you were on the Wi-Fi, your laptop couldn't see the laptop next to you, and it was an arm wrestling match for a long time to try to get the guys involved with IT wireless to kind of give and take a little bit so that we could open up some things. So we basically opened a window where these Apple TVs and the iPads could talk to each other. And we've been testing that on the SU conference. But I'm really glad to be able to tell you guys that next fall you'll be able to get on the SU network and go from building to building, and you'll be able to see only the Apple TVs that are in your particular building you're in, which is a really big hurdle, because right now these guys see every Apple TV. The list is really long. So in the process from when this group started, we went from having, I think it was about 5 Apple TVs on campus. The last time I looked at the list, we have 48. And so the list is just growing and growing and growing. So, and we've had a lot of people ask, you know, how do I get this Apple TV in my classroom? And so we're trying to get those going as fast as we can. And with the new wireless stuff, we'll be able to do it. So I'm really excited because as soon as the iPad was announced, I could see that this is a big deal and we need to get on it. And I think me and Todd have been talking for 2 years or more. But it is a really liberating experience. One of the great things about this year is I actually got to teach. I was an adjunct teacher for CSIS, and so I actually got to not only try to support these guys, but actually be able to use it in the classroom and see the obstacles they were facing, which was a big help to me. But really great experience, and so I'm hoping these guys will be able to fill you in on all the fun that they had as well.